Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Roger from the library. I'm one of the librarians here at ACC, and I'm going to do a short video for you that will help with your English 23-22 project. I'm going to focus on the library resources and the use of them because there's lots of information on the other aspects of this assignment that your instructors provided for you, so I'm just going to fill in a little bit of blanks there in the research side. Now, a lot of this is something you can also use in your other classes, and so keep that in mind, okay? First place you need to go is the pod. And once you get logged into the pod, go to Campus Services and Library. That will bring you to Library's pod page, obviously. A few things that are very important in understanding as you go along in this research process. If you are off campus, you will need to provide login and password at various times to our various vendors. The most common one is going to be for EBSCO. So we have that here at the top of the page. Another one that you would also be using would be to go to the TextShare page, and that's a subscription service provided by this Texas State Library. However, they do control access as well. We have tools that you need to be aware of that will help you with various aspects of your research, and more specifically to do with the IDs and passwords and some visual reminders of how these things work. So the first thing I want to show you are how to get to the help guides. So if you go into the right-hand column and you click on our latest research help guides, you will get this list. Now, my suggestion is that you start here with the Credo reference collection. Click on that, and it will send you to this page. This is our help guide. My suggestion is that you save this to your computer into a folder, and also save a copy to your OneDrive so that you have access to these in case one or the other is not functioning properly when you need it most, okay? You'll see a login and password, and you'll see visual cues of where you are and what you will see when you go through the process in Credo. Credo is a good first step in your searching. They have editorial boards who review these sources. However, they are not peer-reviewed in the classic sense. So just keep that in mind. The next one you'll want to go to is the EBSCO Databases Help Guide. Click that, and it will take you to this page. There's your ID and password. My suggestion is that if you're prompted for the password, copy and paste it, because that's a long one. This one you will also want to save and put into that same folder that you have for the Credo help guide. We have them for Gale as well, and any number of them. There's a literary reference center. That would be a useful one as well. So these are going to be useful for all of your classes, right? Not just specifically for your English 23-22. So keep that in mind. Here's the TextShare database access guide. And this is showing you through the pod. And if you go through the pod or the web page, it's going to get you to the same place. So there's no need to be concerned about that. Okay, save that to your folder as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close those tabs. The next thing you will want to know about are the research subject guides, and that's in the center section here. Mr. Mark has done a very nice job of putting these together, and he's compiled the resources that are more specific to your particular subject area. In this instance, you would want to go to the English and Literature. So if you click that, make sure that opens in a new tab. You will see these blue buttons, and they will have various useful things there for you. Databases is probably the primary one for you, and in this he's put up a little bit of basic information on searching, specifically through EBSCO, but all databases are going to work basically the same way. And then also he's linked databases that we currently have access to. Okay. For JSTOR, which is going to be one of the databases that you are able to use, you will need to access it through the pod, because if you're off campus and accessing it through the web page, you will not be able to. It doesn't have the credentials from the URL, so keep that in mind. So it's good to do your work starting in the pod. Okay. There are some other things in here that are useful, and you can explore those at your leisure. So let's get into the databases that you would most likely want to use for this assignment. In your assignment, there are instructions that show that you're allowed to use the EBSCO databases. So let's start actually not with that, because I want to show you also a little methodology for your researching that can be very handy. So let's scroll down to the Credo reference collection. Now, Credo is designed to provide you faster answers than, say, in-depth research would do. So this is not necessarily something you're going to cite. These are not necessarily things you want to cite in your current assignment. However, it is good to know about this, because you will be able to use this to kind of form some background knowledge, and it can be very helpful. These are all of these sources are specialized encyclopedias and atlases, things of that nature that you would find in a library, and they have been vetted by their editorial staffs. They're not considered peer-reviewed in the classic sense of the articles that we'll be looking at in EBSCO, so they may not qualify for this assignment. However, they are still useful in their own right and good to know about. Okay, so we're going to do literary criticism, and I'm going to give you basic searches just to give you an idea how these things work. Okay, so it's a very general search. You'll see that we get some very foundational knowledge on the specific topic, if they have it. This tells you what literary criticism is. This gives you a very handy, I guess it's concept manager. You know, it can help you to find things that are related to what you're looking for, in case your search is not really providing you things that you feel are useful. So this can be very handy in informing your path to your research. Sometimes, obviously, we don't know much about the topic, so it's kind of hard to really get the proper search terms that will eventually help you to secure the types of sources and articles that you're really, really wanting to get. It takes time to get there sometimes. So if we look at this, just a quick rundown of what we have here on the left-hand column is all the results. And you'll see here 3,086 that match literary criticism. Okay, and they're most likely going to be coming from these specialized encyclopedias and dictionaries. So pretty straightforward. You guys have probably seen similar, well, the behavior of the database is very much the same as others. So if I click on this link here, that's the hyperlink for the article title, or in this case, the term for the definition. It'll give you some information about it. It will allow you to save it, to download, and very importantly, it will also give you citations. And that's what's really, really good about all of our sources. When you go through the database, unless there is something broken, you should have citations for them. Now, in this instance, they are defaulting to APA, so we'll choose MLA because that is your assigned format. Click copy, and then copy it into your Works Cited page. You may have to do some formatting as well. As you'll notice, this is all left justified. You may have to do your own formatting to turn that into a hanging indentation. If you have questions about that, feel free to contact me. Or also, I'm sure your instructor will be happy to show you what that looks like. So that's how Credo works. So those articles are free. You can get as many as you like. So make use of them. Okay. The next one we'll go to is going to be EBSCO. EBSCO databases are going to be very handy for you, not just in this assignment, but for assignments throughout your academic career. So we'll click there. And it gives you this search screen. Pretty simple, just very nice. And I will do the same search there. Okay, literary criticism. Now, this is not designed to be the search that you do. You will be providing, of course, search terms that are more specific to your topic. But I want to show you, just introduce to you how this stuff works. So while that spins, we're looking through approximately 70 databases, okay? That's a lot of databases. It's usually better to filter your results after your search than to go through and try to figure out exactly which database you want to use. I like to give the analogy of basically having a large pile that we're going to filter through these various options here, and they're going to produce a smaller number that's going to be more relevant to us. Obviously, 181,000 is going to be way too many. So let me just start throwing in a search term. Let's see what we get. So it's just looking for those 3 words. Oh, that's kind of nice. So it goes down to 43. That seems odd. That's quite a big jump or drop to me. So that may be a bit too extreme. Let me try Shakespeare just as an example. Let's see if this helps us out any. So this is a little bit better. Okay, so we drop down to 1,300 matches. Now, of course, that could be a lot. We still haven't chosen a few things that we can choose. So let's bring that number down. Let's click the peer reviewed button there. And if you're not familiar with the peer review process, that just means that people within the same field as these authors and these researchers have been invited to review the studies, the methodology, the information that's being provided in order to make sure there's some quality control going into it. Okay. Then once that passes the peer-reviewed process successfully, then they typically will allow the journals will allow it to be published. Now, if you notice here, we've got 21. So that's That's a good number sometimes. Sometimes that's a terrible number. It just depends on whether the things that you need are in that number, okay? So what do we do if it's too small like this? Let's say this is too small. We can maybe try this. Let's see what this does. We don't always get what we want. So 19. So it's so what does that mean? It means that literary and criticism are supposed to be together in these results. So let's say, okay, maybe this is good. Now, if this number was 199, we have the option to choose something like this, publication dates within these time frames. That can be helpful. Also, we have the option to choose source types. Now, in this instance, there's only two because of the peer-reviewed button being chosen. And now we see this expands a little bit, okay? Not all of these are peer-reviewed, but some of them could still be useful for you. So I'll go back to peer review. And let's say that we like this first one. It looks interesting, so explore it a little bit more. We can, we know that this is the title. Then we have the authors, the publication date, and then the database that it's in. Here's a summary or abstract. Will help you determine more whether you want to go into that. So let's say, yeah, this all looks good. And let's go take a look at it. Now, some things that are important. We have the ability to save, and we have citations. We have download. So download and citation are the one you want to use. Anything else in here, like this add to project, is going to require you to set up an account with them, with EBSCO, and it's probably not worth it. Doesn't cost anything, but still, I've not seen them work very well. So this is a detailed record. There's the abstract as well. Information in here is not a whole lot that you'll be able to do something with. Mostly what we're concerned with are these things up here. Okay, so let's say that looks decent. So let's look at the citation. We'll choose a different citation format, the MLA, of course. And here you can see what the proper hanging indentation format looks like. So you want to copy to clipboard and then save it. My suggestion is that you open your works cited page and start it immediately upon researching. Do not hope to come back and get your citations after you've written your paper, after you've done all of the searching, because there's a very good chance you will not be able to find the exact articles that you need or that you used, and for them you won't have citations for them, and that could really impact your grade. Seriously, we don't want to do that. So start immediately. Also, let's say, for example, I want this article. In EBSCO, they have a peculiar thing that when we download, it gives us this kind of file name. Okay, so what you want to do is really take the first bit of the title, copy it. I did a Control-C, for example, and then go in and change the file name. Now, one thing you might also want to consider doing is creating a file folder for all the articles that are part of this assignment. Actually, part of each and every assignment you do in each and every class, so that you keep it organized and you can easily get to it. And then once you no longer need that stuff, it's easy to delete. And there again, put it on your computer, on your laptop, and then also on your OneDrive. That way, if one or the other is not available, you still have access. That will make life a lot less tragic. Now, you can also look at these things here on the screen. I prefer the PDF format, personally. There's just a little bit more capability in there like that. Okay. And then you also have the commands up here. You can cite and download as well. But one thing you don't want to do is read the whole article in order to figure out whether you don't want to use it or not. So make sure you use the abstract, okay? That will make life a lot easier. So from here, this is just a matter of rinse and repeat. You just go back to your results and scroll through, find what you like, okay? So that is EBSCO, and it works in pretty straightforward fashion. Back out here to databases. The next one we want to look at is JSTOR. And where is it? There it is right there. Ditch the credo. Here we go. So, literary criticism. There we go. So JSTOR is going to work pretty much the same as EBSCO does in its functionality. You'll see a little bit different layout sometimes, a little bit different colors, but you should see a search box, ways to limit, refine your search results, download, citation, buttons, all of that kind of stuff, okay? This is how I did this literary criticism. Wow, that provides 467,807. So that's a lot, right? Way more than we want. So let's do Shakespeare plays, for example. Let's see what we get. Okay, down to 40,000. I could add more terms and bring that number down, but the process is pretty straightforward. And it's just like I did in the other databases, okay? So let's say that this number is way too big, which it probably is. You have options over here on ways to bring that number down to something a little bit more manageable. You can see these numbers in parentheses. In this instance, you'll see 31,000 journal articles, some book chapters, which I have not seen before, which is kind of cool. Breaks that down for you. And, just various things, document, books, images, videos, audios. It's kind of cool. Ditch their cookie notification. And you'll see here, the list just goes and goes and goes. That's pretty straightforward, right? You can change the sort if you want to. I'm going to do newest just to see how it goes. Huh. Wow, 1936 doesn't seem like the newest, does it? Let's go back to relevance. Let's see. Okay, let's say this first one might be of interest. Obviously, that's the title. You see the author, you see the publication information there, and a little bit of the summary or abstract gives you an idea of what might be there. You can launch right into download if you really like it, and then you can also get your citation. However, to me, this seems like not quite enough information. So I would go in a little bit deeper before I committed to that. but you might be on the right track, right? And know exactly what you want. So, so this is nice. They are loading it up pretty quick. So let's say, yeah, this is looking okay. You know, as you go through it, very cool. You can download. Through here. And this is very nice. They give you the information gives you an article that's something you can work with as opposed to what these EBSCO ones look like, okay? But keep that in mind. Put that in your folder for the class. And let me ditch that. We'll go back and we'll get the citation. They do a nice job of providing you probably the 3 most common, okay? There we go. MLA, copy it, and then go into your works cited page and paste it. So JSTOR works really nice and cleanly. I think you'll find that easy to use. And there again, it's just a matter of rinsing and repeating. The hard part can be finding the right combination of search terms that gets you sort of where you want to be. And you can see, I'm sure you guys will probably not end up with results like this, but this is very good for instructional purposes because it shows us what we do to get to a manageable number. And you will run into this option or this circumstance, I guess we'll call it, as you go through your academic career. So that's all that I have for you in terms of the research side of the library sources or resources that are available to you. I'm more than happy to help you one-on-one should you need that. And my name is Roger Bell, and you can either come by the library and see me. I'm here Monday through Friday, or we could do it on Teams, and that would allow us to share screens as well, whichever you prefer. So I wish you good luck. Hope the assignment turns out well, and it's very interesting.